Alright, I'm going to try and walk you through this. So we got the Variac transformer that's plugged into the wall. It's actually a surge protector. And this is what I'm using as the input power source to the transformer, just so that I can vary it coming out of the wall. My house, that is, the apartment. This is the transformer. And so I have the cord hooked up here. And then of course these are, oh my, make sure that's on there. Then the high voltage leads going into the diode bridge, where I get my positive and negative currents. Coming over to the vacuum pump, single stage vacuum pump, VP2S looks like. And then, so this is the connecting pieces or parts to the vacuum pump. It actually came with 3 separate ones, and so I bought this from the store and began assembling basically a system of valves and stuff to keep the vacuum held and to keep gases inside. And of course, a vacuum gauge. This is the hose that I use to go into the vacuum chamber. I normally would just connect directly with the piping, but I do the hose so that I can keep the vacuum running and the experiment going while the vacuum is running, yes. So now I'm going to get the chamber actually set up here. So I'm going to have to drop in some glass or ice chunks into the top and tape up the anode and cathode. And so I'm actually just using ice that I have smashed up. Just gonna drop it in and smack it in with a hammer or a screwdriver. Eventually melts in. I think the fat is better. There we go. And you'd be surprised how slippery these little buggers can be. Try to slip right out of your hand as you put it in. So I think, I want to get a decent amount of ice in there. I like a little more water. I've done a lot, and I mean, can just make the experiment go for a long time. Sometimes I like, the right amount of water so that I can actually get it out of there within a 10-minute period and not have to run my vacuum for a long time to actually pull it out. I'm gonna try to get one more good chunk of ice in there. I'm basically just going through this for the sake of thoroughness and showing the demonstration. And then next I have to attach the valve here to the top. Close that. And pulling the vacuum is actually going to take a little bit of time to get this going, but I'll try and make it very quick here. Whenever I could start pumping the air out. Sorry. Using a crescent wrench and a, what do they call this? Lock screws? I don't know. Yeah, I'm a plumber. These are basically water tools for piping, whatever. So it's pretty low key. I dream of one day having some stainless steel or something like that. Alright, so I got that on there pretty tight. Hopefully that wasn't too painful to watch. Then, so I'm taking my leads, have my cathode connected here down at the bottom. Use the alligator clip to get her on there, and I tape up the positive on the top. Straight to the valve. I definitely want to make a better video showing how this all goes down, but I really don't have enough time to be doing that right now. Alright, so the power supply is all hooked up. I can crank on this vacuum. I'm actually gonna try to get these ice chunks down inside of the sand. I want the moisture down in there. So it's putting up a fight. How dare you find me? There you go. I think that may have been successful. So I definitely make sure I got my high voltage isn't touching anything or going to short circuit, because it's pretty jimmy rigged. I could probably, have a better setup and actually get more of an efficient output out of my diodes, because they'll sometimes break down in the air, and yeah, you don't want that. Get a light set up. And it generally takes a couple minutes to suck the air out of this vacuum chamber. It looks like there's some water submerged, so we should be able to see some bubbling and whatnot once the vacuum gets high, which we'll actually hear the sound of it coming from the vacuum chamber, which I'm going to turn on the vacuum pump. Then I got this camera situated. So we're getting close, because this actually, I thought I was only pulling 28.5 negative. I actually am able to pull about negative 29.25 around is what it's telling me, which I'm really confused. I didn't know I could get that high of a vacuum with this guy. So it's struggling right now, but we're getting there. And of course the power supply, I think that's actually a folder right there on the surface. The power supply, you're going to need a little bit of amperage or milliamps. My Tesla coil doesn't really work at all for doing craters or anything like that. So that is the sound of the high vacuum being reached. I haven't seen any disruptions at the surface yet as a result of vapor rising. Maybe a little bit of activity. Let's see. Could be because the water is all at the surface already. I'll try giving it a shake. So yeah, definitely there was some activity when I shook that for sure. It's in there. So, being that nothing's really happening with boiling, I'm going to go ahead and start powering up the voltage here. Try to get some more mood lighting going on. Definitely just shaking the bottle was able to bring the fine particles to the surface. I don't know if you caught it on there, I could see it, but here we go. Cranking up the power supply, voltage up. My multimeter is not connected, so I'm powering down and reconnecting my multimeter and powering up. Alright, that's better. Well, hopefully we get something here. There we go. That is definitely some beautiful stuff. Around maxed out right now. There we go. It is amazing. I love it every time. And just like that, we're there. I mean, you saw how boring it was when I was talking, and now, just look at it go. And I suppose we'll run till time. I had about 18 minutes left on the camera when I began the video. There's not much of a discharge happening above. Be careful now. Of course, glass would help to dissipate any shock, but so yeah, pretty typical. Nice bubbling going on. Let's try to change the angle. Not like the angle change. It's giving me a 4-minute warning. Come on. So, not much is going on right now. Let's, want to do some, this would be a good time to extinguish. Ooh. It actually looks really nice. And it's definitely a straight lined edge. Oh my gosh. Just can't even believe the way it looks. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the switch here. That's beautiful. You can pretty much almost start all over here, can't we? So you can obviously do a lot of that. Let's try this once. There we go. There's no voltage running. That is all boiling water. Let's hit the voltage. So those are chunks of ice there, covered in sand. That was a lot of material. You can still see where it landed. Well, let's just do... I want to see what happens when I do a nice slow decrease. So obviously do a little bit of that. Even when okay. Just very slow. When the plasma goes, the surface really dropped. Wow, what is that? I don't know.